Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this lecture is all about populating our Cassandra table which we created in the earlier lecture. So in that lecture we have installed Cassandra on our HDP Sandbox, as well as we have created a KEYSPACE, which is nothing but a database, and we have created one table named user. So we will be using Spark to integrate with Cassandra. So using the Spark script, we will be loading our movies.user file into our Cassandra table. So these are pretty much all the commands which you need for this lecture. So without further ado, let's get into it. So this is the script which we will be running to populate our Cassandra table. So let us walk through it step by step. So I hope you already know what is Apache Spark, which is a processing engine to handle big data. So here we are using the Python with PySpark for simplicity. So if you are not aware with PySpark or Apache Spark and how it works, just watch our previous tutorials in our Hadoop series, where we have discussed what is Apache Spark, and we have also executed our Spark job on the HDP Sandbox. So if you watch that video, this will be pretty much familiar to you. So as this code is written in Python, it will be easier for you to understand. So the first step will be you have to import all the required packages. So here we have imported Spark session, which is the entry point of every Spark application. And we have imported rows and functions as well, which we'll be needing to create our RDD as well as DataFrame. So here we have written a parser input function to return the rows from our data file. So as our user.data file is delimited by pipe characters, we have used the split function to split all the fields. And we have written the row here. So our row contain user ID in the int, which is present in the first field. In the second field, we have the age having the integer data type. Then we have the gender at the third position. So as you already know, the array starts from 0 in Python. So that's why we have given from 0. Then we have the occupation of that user having the fourth position. And the last one is the zip code where that user resides, having the fifth one. So these are all the fifth field which will be written as a row by this parser input function. So let me show you how the data looks like. So this is our data file. So here, as you can see, first one is user ID, then age, then this is the gender, occupation, and the zip code. So this first two fields having the integer data type, and the next three are text. I know zip code will be in the integer only, but this file have some letters in the zip code. So if you just, let me just find the one example. Yeah, this you can see here is the letters present. So that's why we have created a table in our Cassandra KEYSPACE, and we have given the text data type for zip code as well. So let's get back to our code. So the next thing will be, and it is the first step of every Spark application, is to create a Spark session. So we have created a Spark session by using the builder method here. Here we have given the app name as Cassandra example. You can give any name here. Then we have given the config. So it will give the Spark session to connect to the Cassandra host. So it is like spark.cassandra.connection.host. So it is telling that it is connecting to a local host and it's connecting to 127.0.0.1. And we're using the get or create method to create Spark session. So it will tell Spark that just get the already created session or else just create a new one for us. So this is the first step. Then we have created an RDD by using the Spark context here. And we have given the .text file because our file is present as a text file. So here, as you can see, I have provided the HDFS path here. We need to first upload this data file into HDFS. So we will create a Cassandra directory in the Maria dev, and then we will load our movies.user file by using the copyFromLocal command. So here is our first RDD, which is lines, which we are creating over our movies.user file, and we'll pass a map function to apply the schema for our movies.user file because our file doesn't have any headers. So we have to provide the metadata for that specific file. So here in the parser function, we have given all the field names such as user ID, age, gender, occupation, and it should be similar to whatever we have given while creating a table in our Cassandra KEYSPACE. So it is similar to that, right? Okay, so that's the second step. And then we have created a data frame. So for creating a data frame, we just need to use this function known as create data frame. So just look out for the capitalization here. And we have passed on our RDD, which is users. So it will create a data frame known as users dataset, which we are writing in our Cassandra table. So you can also use another approach so that you can just directly create a data frame on top of it, and you can also use the struct field and struct type to manually assign the schema to it. So if you want to try it, you can do that as well. And after that, we have the last step, which is writing the data into a Cassandra table. So we are using the write method here. So we are writing the data, and here is the format. So the format would be org.apache.spark.sql.cassandra. So this is the format for writing the data into Cassandra. So this is pretty much used for integrating Apache Spark with Cassandra. And here we are using the append mode. So we can also use overwrite mode, but it totally depends on the application. So append means it is just like an incremental load. So you're not loading the full data every time. You are just appending the new data as well as updated data into a Cassandra table. And if there is a requirement to load the data fully, then you can use overwrite as well. So this is just like an experimentation that you need to do to find a better solution for your application. Then we have given the options here. So there are two options we are giving, which is table, which is users, and the key space is movies data. So this is the key space and table which we have created in the earlier lecture, and we're just saving this to just kick off our write function. So if you understood it, this is pretty much we are doing here. We are just creating a RDD on top of our movies.user file. We are just passing a map function to apply the schema, and then we are creating a data frame, and that is going to write into our users table, which is stored in a movies data key space. So are you ready to execute it? Okay then. So our next step is just boot up your HDP Sandbox and make sure that all the services are running fine without any issue. So I already kept it in running position. So the next step would be to get the required files. So just open the PuTTY terminal here and log in as Maria_dev. So the first step would be you just log in as a root user so that you will not have any restriction. So just give like su root and give the password. So whatever the password you have set earlier, just give it. So by default it is Hadoop, all in lowercase. Yeah. And we have to go to the directory which we have used for creating our repository to accept the Cassandra packages. So to do that, just give like cd etc/yum.repos.d. And the next step would be to get the required files. So required files are nothing but our data file, which is movies.user, and our Cassandra script, which is written in Spark. So to get that, I have already uploaded those in the GitHub repository. So just use the wget command here. So give like wget https://raw.github/user-content11/hadoop/main/movies.user. So this is our data file. So if everything looks good, hit enter, and that's it. Our file has been imported, but this file we need in the HDFS directly. So to do that, just make sure all the services are running fine by logging into Ambari. So we need the HDFS service here to work fine. And first, let's create one directory in Maria_dev named as Cassandra, from where our Spark file picking up this movies.user data. So to create that, you know the command. So just give like Hadoop fs/mkdir, which is making directory /user/ the username is nothing but Maria_dev/Cassandra. So we are creating a repository named Cassandra in Maria_dev. So just hit enter. So that's it. And after that, we can just import this movies.user file in that Cassandra directory. So to do that, you know the command. So just give like Hadoop fs/copyFromLocal. So just look out for the capitalization here. Otherwise it will throw an error because these commands are case sensitive. Then give the file name, which is movies.user, and the target directory. So our target directory is nothing but /user/Maria_dev/Cassandra/movies.user. If everything looks good, hit enter. That's it. Our file is successfully added to HDFS. Let's verify it. So if you just log in to the Ambari through Maria_dev and the password is Maria_dev, just sign in and go to the files view and just check in our given path. So the path was user, then the username was Maria_dev, and here you can see the Casandra directory has been created, and you can see the owner as root because we have logged in as a root for running this command. So just go to Casandra, and as you can see our file is present here, so movies.user. So if you just take a look into it, here you can see this file is pipe limited and all the fields which we have seen in our PySpark script. So just cancel it for a while, and now the next step would be to get that actual Python script in our HDP Sandbox so that we can submit it to the Spark cluster. So just come back to the PuTTY terminal and just get that Python script. So to do that, just use the wget command. So give wget https://raw.github/ashepatil11/hadoop/main and give the file name. So the file name is cassandraspark.py. So this is a Python file. So if everything looks good, hit enter. And that's it. We have the file which we can execute on our Spark cluster. But first, we need to kick off our Cassandra service which we have installed in the previous lecture. So to do that, we know the command. So just give like service Cassandra start. That's it. Hit enter. So it is just starting the Cassandra. So it will take a while. So just grab a coffee and come back in some time. Okay, so Cassandra service has been started. So now before running our Spark script, we need to make sure that we are using the Spark 2 version because our HDP Sandbox will come preloaded with both the versions, and by default it will use the first version. So to select the second version, just give like export spark_major_version, just give it in capital equals to 2. That's it. So now we have selected the second version of Spark, and we are just pretty much submitting our Spark job into our Hadoop cluster. So are you ready? Okay then. So just use the Spark submit command here. So this Spark submit is used for submitting our Spark script into our Hadoop cluster. So just give spark-submit, and after that we need to provide the packages to actually communicate with our Cassandra service. So this is very important. So just carefully follow along and look out for the errors. So just give like -- packages space com.datastax.spark /spark Cassandra connector _2.11 2.4.2. Then give space and give our file name. So our script name is nothing but cassandraspark.py. So just give like cassandraspark.py, cross verify it one more time and hit enter. So our Spark job has been submitted now. So it will just communicate with the Cassandra to write that movies.user file to our already created table. So we have created KEYSPACE name movies data and the table name is users. So it will just create a data frame and write it into the particular table. So this job is running now. So just wait it for run. So it is just doing the groundwork. So it is just writing the data to a Cassandra. And that's it. Our job has been completed. So to verify it, we can just go to the SQL shell and find the results. So to do that, you know the command. So just type in cql sh, hit enter, and we are in the SQL command line. So first, before executing any command, we need to select our key space. So for that purpose, give use, and our key space is movies data, semicolon enter. That's it. So in this movies data, we had created our users table. So we'll just select the first 10 records here. So just give like select star from users limit 10 semicolon enter. As you can see, this is our data. So this is the way we can populate our Cassandra table by integrating it with the Spark. So we have used the Python language to write our Spark code, which will just create a data frame on top of that file, and we can save that data frame in our table by connecting it to the Cassandra service. So I hope you learned a lot here and you understood how Cassandra works and how we can integrate with our Hadoop cluster as well as the Spark, which is again a very popular processing engine to handle big data, to provide a complete solution. So you can have a single data center which handles all the right operations, and also you should have a different data center where interconnected nodes will be served as a data analytics solution where you can integrate it with the Spark to increase some consistency and get the desired outputs for analytics purpose. So if everything is good, you can just exit from the SQL shell, and that's it. So if you're not familiar with Spark, I will highly recommend you to watch those 2-3 lectures which we have dedicated especially to Spark, where we have seen about Spark core concept and actually ran the Spark script on our Hadoop cluster. And if you want to know more about Cassandra, we can have a dedicated playlist only for Cassandra. So that will be coming soon, and I'll notify you once I have an update. So in this lecture, we have populated our Cassandra table by integrating it with Spark. So I'll just provide all these steps in the description below so that it will be easier for you to understand it and save a lot of time. So if you like this lecture, please subscribe to our channel and also ring the notification bell to get the latest updates. And don't forget to follow us on our social media, which I have linked in the description below. Thanks for watching.